I just wanted to share some insights that were coming in as I am sitting here and I'm about to go on a call with a friend about regrets that we may have. And so I wanted to share some thoughts that are coming in about regrets. You know, sometimes we regret something from our past and somehow believe that either we were at fault in some way, or that we could have or should have changed something about our past or our experiences, or that we could have made a difference, or that we made a wrong decision. And we're just really hanging on to things that aren't necessarily true. So what I want to invite you to is to learn how to connect with yourself deeply enough that you can re-experience the moment that you have a regret about, and go into that moment and re-experience it and find the truth of the situation. Because when you find the truth and you have a clear understanding on what this is really about and what actually really happened, and you realize that your perception may be wrong about this, and so you're having regrets about something that you just made up a story around, but isn't actually the truth. So when we're able to connect with ourselves through time and space, we're able to re-experience a situation and gain perceptions that maybe we have not or had not been able to gain during the time when the situation was unfolding. Because sometimes when situations unfold, we may not be 100% aware of what's really going on. And once the moments are past, you can't get it back, and you can't go back there and tell yourself, say something different or do it differently. But you can gain the perception or the understanding that you lacked a certain level of awareness, and this is why you made the choices that you made at the time, which can help you to release the regrets and the what ifs and should haves and could haves that you may be subconsciously carrying with us. We were talking about this before, is that when we have regrets and we can't change the regret, or we can't change the situation, or we can't change something we did or said in the past, if we cannot resolve this or unfold this or explore this or somehow release our hold on that past situation, we subconsciously become a victim to it, right? We subconsciously hang on to something that's just now no longer changeable. With that said, we can now take actions, that could somehow resolve the effects of past decisions. That is our power that we have in the now moment. The now moment right now is the most powerful place to be. But there's also something about the now moment that maybe some people don't know. In the now moment, you can go and dive really, really deep into yourself, into a place from where you become the portal to everything, meaning that you can access any point in time in all of existence. But what's really important is to access any point of time in your own life to resolve or to understand the problems from the past or even problems from the future, so that you can dissolve the hold that the past problems still have on you today. Why is this important? Is because many times we live with subconscious regrets or problems or hang-ups that don't allow us to live our best life in the now. It stops us from moving forward with life, and it stops us from doing the things that we really want to do, or the things that we love to do or would love to do. And it also stops us from feeling free to be ourselves. And we may not even know what it even means to be really ourselves. Maybe we've been hiding ourselves for so long, pretending to be somebody else because we thought that who we are is not acceptable, right? And so this is why it's important that we allow ourselves to dive really deep into ourselves and to resolve the beliefs that we may be carrying at the core of when they were created. Right? You can be aware of your beliefs and your subconscious hang-ups in the now, but that doesn't mean that you can resolve it or dissolve it in the now, right? Even if you know it and understand it, you may need still something extra to truly unhook yourself from that belief, understanding, or ideation. So I know people have done this with energy healing, and it's a great way to do, but there's a little bit of an extra step in there. You know, you have to dive into yourself. And you have to dig up the exact moment that had the most impact on a certain belief or ideation that you still carry within you. You have to go there and assess it and look at it and acknowledge that experience and the things that you may have not perceived at the time in the correct way. And also, when you're able to access this little zero or deep point within your being, in that place, there is no linearity because time now has become circular, sort of, and you can access any moment in time through your memory or also through your emotion. You can travel along the energy frequency of your emotional patterns or your memories. Anything is light, anything is frequency and light. So you can travel along those energies through time and space, which is fantastic. This is actually how I was able to heal myself from my past childhood trauma, which is incredible. Completely released all of my past hang-ups and reintegrated all parts of myself I had left behind in time and space because they were deemed not acceptable, right? So we sometimes, when we experience something that is really harsh or difficult to acknowledge and accept, sometimes people call it living in denial. Well, yeah, because you couldn't accept or acknowledge it because it was so harsh. But what it means is we split a part of ourselves off and we leave it left in time behind. So that will turn out for us to always feel as if we're not whole, or that we're dissociative, or we don't remember something, or we're feeling very insecure, have low consciousness. And when we're able to recollect those memories that we had forgotten about, or those fragments of ourselves that we left behind in time and space, and we go there and we acknowledge and accept ourselves, and that simple process of shedding light on that experience integrates it back into our being. Now we have acknowledged it, we have to learn to accept it, surrender to the facts, and tell ourselves that we are going to be the ones having our own backs. We're going to be the ones who will be the parent for our inner child. We're the ones who will lovingly embrace all of ourselves, all of our experiences that we've had in our lives, which leads to feeling fully whole again. This brings back your self-esteem, your consciousness, your awareness, your ability to focus. It heals dissociation. You know, it's an incredible way of healing yourselves. And, you know, interestingly, sometimes people reject that this is even a thing, you know, but especially those people who reject it most likely have rejected a huge part of themselves in time and space, and they just can't remember it. And so when you're talking about it, you're triggering them. And because now we're revealing to them as mirrors a part of themselves that they're not acknowledging, and that's very difficult to accept. If you're not in that place yet where you understand that you're doing this or you've done this to yourself, it can feel very triggering and alarming to your ego and your nervous system. Oh my God, somebody's speaking about the very thing that I have experienced. It's all happening subconsciously, of course, right? Your consciousness is not consciously telling you that this is what happened because it's been hiding those facts from your conscious awareness for decades, likely. And So anyways, this is more meant for the people who are already aware of these things happening. So how can we extend time? Right? Sometimes for many people, time is like a fleeting thing, or goes by fast, or you wish the moment would last longer. You can actually, in fact, extend time. You extend time by diving deep into the now moment. So when you dive deep into the now moment expands into eternity. So we like to say sometimes that a moment is just a moment in eternity, but actually there is an eternity inside one moment if you allow yourself to experience that. So when you dive deep into yourself, into the now moment, and you really focus, and you see yourself, or you see your partner, or you see everything within you, and you go dive deep into your inner soul, in your being, in that place, there is a limitless vastness of space and time that is beyond just space and time. It is everything. You become the portal to everything. You become the portal to everything in that now moment when you dive really deep. And in that place, you can access anything. You can access memories that have been hidden from you. You can access lives beyond this life. You can access the future. You can access pretty much anything you want, or anything that you're requesting. So when you're in the now moment, sometimes you can just experience the extension of time in eternity, or you can just bring your questions and maybe ask a question about something that you always wanted to know, and then observe what your answers are. Now, I'm a very visual person. I often get visual things, but sometimes I also get stories, I get memories, I get ideas, I get insights, and love to share them sometimes. I sometimes share them, and they're not at all in any way anything like personal or anything that my mind made up. Okay, it's nothing made up. These are things that we explore in our inner space. So inner space, when you're able to access that, you realize that inner space is actually all there is, and the outer space is simply a creation of the inner space. Very interesting concept, right? There's no time and space in the inner space. Like, you can go anywhere, you can access anything, and it's pretty incredible. So I just felt I needed to share this information that was coming through today about how to extend the moment in time, and how to access any moment in time, even the things that you may have. But once you open that portal to, even if you don't remember certain things that maybe you want to remember, just opening that portal and going there with intention that you want to know something will bring you back the memory of what you actually wanted to access. It may not come immediately, but it could happen that suddenly you have a big aha moment 2 weeks later. This is how energy works. Sometimes it just takes time for it to unfold in reality, or for you to clue in and become aware of it. So I've had this happen, that suddenly I wanted to know something, and I would know, like literally days or weeks later, the memory of that specific thing I'd forgotten about would pop back, and I would go like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Now it's back, now I remember it. And if you think that it's not possible or whatever, it's just your belief. You're believing it's not possible, and that's why it's not possible for you. But if you believed in anything is possible, if you truly believed in anything is possible, you would be able to find it. You would be able to get your answers. You would be able to do anything that you ever wanted to do, or be capable of doing or accessing. And I always like to say, the only limit is the one that your mind made up. Okay, and it could be your beliefs, your ideations, it could be social conditioning, it could be family conditioning, it could be that you have just created a reality where those rules don't apply, or different rules apply, and so there's no such thing as limitless experience in your reality. So we tend to box ourselves in through creating realities. We all do that. We all have the power to create our own reality, right? The problem with that is that sometimes people create boxes and live in that reality and completely dismiss any other possibilities. So they've created a reality, they live in that, and because that makes them feel safe and like to have control over life, right? So if you have the need to control everything, then you're gonna have created a box for yourself to live in, because in that box you're in control of everything, or you believe that you are. But we don't really control anything. We just have to learn that we have to become masters of self. So when we are masters of self, we no longer have the need to control everything. We actually are able to release the control, or release the idea or the belief of control. Okay, so anyway, but that comes back to learning how to be a master of self. Master of self is not controlling yourself. It's actually learning how to master life, and how to master death, and how to master your own thoughts and your own emotions. And mastering means you learn to understand yourself. It's about understanding who you are, why you are the way you are, and why the world is the way it is, and really diving deep into your inner space to explore all of that as you. So interesting information that I just wanted to share with you today. So yeah, hope you have a beautiful week and have a good night.